Today on Play and Display, I'm very excited to finally review Daredevil from the Marvel Legends line. Here we go. And this isn't just any old Daredevil. No. This is based on one of the best series ever he was in, written by Chip Zdarsky, drawn by Marco Checchetto. This right here is so cool. It's good to know that Hasbro and Marvel listens to the fans that read the comic books. And this is based, like I said, off an amazing story. Like easily, his run on their run on the Daredevil comics is arguably probably my second favorite, only next to probably Frank Miller, and that's saying a lot, though, in all honesty. So to get this figure, to have it in the collection, this is going to be amazing. But I'm going to be real honest though with the review. I'm not going to kind of play fanboy like I know a lot of you guys know that I collect a lot of Daredevil, and I'm a huge Daredevil fan. But I'm going to be brutally honest with this figure though, and I hope it meets my expectations. So let's go ahead and look at the packaging though. I'm really happy that Hasbro decided to go with the window package on this one, especially for this figure, because I knew the head sculpt on this one was going to be a big selling point. I mean, this is like the first time you ever seen Daredevil grow a beard out and just kind of look that haggard. But down below though, this is part of the Marvel Knights Legends line. If you turn this thing around, more figures from that line though too. I mean, we got Blade, we got Luke Cage, we got Lady Bullseye. We got so many other ones though we got to get though. Even got a Hand Ninja too, which I might end up picking up though. He's kind of generic. But also this is part of the Build-A-Figure, the Mindless one. This doesn't come with any Build-A-Figure parts though. On the side, we got some really great artwork though. So let's go ahead and crack the sucker open. So usually this is a part of the show where I usually give my first impressions. And now I bet a lot of you guys are wondering, this looks very different from Daredevil. If you haven't read the comic book, I'll explain the new look. What happened is Matt Murdock had a crisis of faith and duty, and he just wanted to pay for his debts that he did wrong. Elektra came back, and Elektra decided to take up the mantle of Daredevil while Matt had to go off somewhere. I don't want to give too much away of the story, but needless to say, he came back and he's more based off Elektra's look of Daredevil. Now, I will say this much though. This reminds me later in the series with Chip Zdarsky when he just kind of slowly grows that beard out, and this is kind of like towards the end of that series where he gets in a big war with the Hand. He creates his own army to fight against the Hand, so this really kind of follows that look for sure. But all in all though, do I think the detail is done proper on it? Yes. Especially, here's the things I want to point out, though, for sure. The wraps around the arms, though. The forearms, that looks really good, and it's on point, and it's on top. The hair coming out of the back of the helmet, like, I'm not kidding. He really let himself go. Because, I don't want to give too much away, but he really just doesn't care what people think of him at this point, you know. He's kind of isolated himself, just like-minded people. Got the DD on the chest, so it looks pretty good. Got that contrast between the black and the red there. A little bit of callback to his uniform when he used to have an old black one back in the day. The pants look really, really good, though, too, as well. So, all in all, though, the overall look looks just like a Mark Checchetto version of Daredevil, and that's what I want. Now, for the accessories, though, he does have his trusty billy clubs, and these accessories are tough to do. If you read the comics, a lot of times, this staff right here is one piece. It breaks off into two. The problem is when they do it in the action figure form, you get this little knob here, which I think I'm just going to make the effort just to cut that off so it looks even. So when he does have the billy club, aka the batons, he can it'll look more cleaner that way, you know. And now the billy club does work better as a two-piece, so when it fits in the holster here, you can also remove the holster too if you'd like. But all in all, I'll probably just keep it on, though. It does kind of give more character than old Matt Murdock here. Now, the other accessory he does have is a double-bladed staff. And, I mean, he's used this before, but it's not what I really remember him using before. I thought, when I saw it in the packaging, I thought to myself, this doesn't really look right. I wish we had an extra set of hands, maybe a set of fists to go with this figure. But it is what it is, though. If I want to have combine the two batons and just have one long staff, I can just easily modify this by cutting that off, and then I'll just have a regular staff. But then I was also thinking to myself, if I end up ever getting the Hands soldier, maybe this would be a great weapon for him, or maybe just another weapon in Paso. But I probably will display with just billy clubs, though. Nice accessories, but I would have totally traded this weapon in for a set of fists. let's go ahead and check out the posability on Daredevil. Now, standability is really good. I mean, I've been playing with it for a little bit now. Haven't really had too many issues with getting Daredevil to stand up, though. One little concern, though, might be a little bit big concern, is this this scarf here really gets in the way of any, and his hair in the back right here gets in the way of like looking up and looking down. You know, he can move side to side. Why is this important though? Because Daredevil is a blind superhero, but not everybody knows Daredevil's blind. That's kind of like one of his things that helps him in a fight. So he needs to look at people when they talk to him to kind of give the illusion, you know, or just make them believe, you know, like, hey, you know, this guy can see the whole time. Another thing too, though, is the arms, shoulder, and everything else works really, really good. The torso is really nice. That's what kind of gives me a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, if we want to look up right, he's kind of got bent back a little bit, but that's not too bad though. The legs are pretty decent for the most part though. They're a little bulky here. I mean, I don't know how to say it. I've tried to pose in some decent amount of kicks. I actually want to pose it like a really cool display for this, but it's a little tricky. It can be done, but it's, I don't know. It's up to you guys if, however you guys want to set it up though. And for my final review of the Marvel Knights version of Daredevil is this. Daredevil's super popular right now. He's got a show coming out on on Disney here pretty soon. It's supposed to be more edgier, just like the Netflix show is, though. So he's very popular. He showed up at the MCU in Spider-Man. Everybody just was going crazy for it. Everybody's saying, you know, he's going to be the saving grace of Marvel Comics. This one, like I said before, is based on a comic book series that just ended recently last year. Chip Zdarsky's run on it, though. That is a figure it's supposed to represent and does a great job of doing that, though. If you're a Daredevil fan, this might not be for you. If you would take anything away from this interview, though, understand that it is a great series of books to read. Highly recommend reading it. I believe there's like 49 issues all together, though. If you got a good weekend, you got a lot of time, it's a great read, though. But as far as detail, I got to detail it on that comic book. And that being said, though, there's a lot of cool details that are added to it, though. The things that kind of hit the most, really, was with Billy Club. I can fix that. I get why they put that in there. I think maybe, you know, with the accessory, with the double-sided spear, you know, they could just made a longer club version of that instead of having that there. I can fix that, but I still got to deduct a whole point for just not looking right whenever he's got the two Billy Clubs out, you know, just cracking on people, though. But everything else, though, for the most part, looks top-notch, though. And all in all, and I wish they really added a set of fists. I mean, they could just give us an extra set of fists there. So I got to deduct another point for that. Damn, I'm just going to drop it down to 8 out of 10, okay? Now, for posability, though, I got to set this thing in a very high standard because Daredevil is a very acrobatic superhero in the same realm as I'd put, like, Spider-Man in, though. So I got to judge this one a little harsh, mostly because, like I said before, with the head, the fact that he can't really move back and forth, but it needs the hair and it needs that little scarf. Otherwise, it won't look just like the comic book version, but it does hurt posability. Whenever he's fighting everybody, like I said before, he's got to look at him. He's got to give... Like, imagine if everybody knew Daredevil was blind. They could do so many different other things to stop him. They could use loud sounds to throw off his hearing. They'd have to fight the other senses that he still had, you know. So, I'm going to deduct a whole point for that one, though. I kind of don't want to, but like I said, I got to be honest with this review on this figure. Another thing, too, the legs are a little bit hard to throw off, like kicks and everything. It's not super bad, but I think just mostly the pants that he's got on here are just a little bit loose. Maybe it has like a different hinge. I mean, for the most part, it does work pretty good. So I'm not going to judge that one too harshly. I'm going to deduct a half point from that. That puts us at 8.5 out of 10. And all in all, though, posability is good, and the standability is really good on it too. So 8.5 is not bad. Now for the fun factor, though, this figure right here is going to be very decisive. Like I said, it's based on a certain series, a comic book, and really only two characters really got a major overhaul. That was Daredevil and Elektra. But every villain and every superhero that helped out Daredevil during that whole run still looked the same. So if you got other figures that were in there, you could recreate some of those battles. But this one's more of a kind of a rugged, kind of beat down version of Daredevil, just one you don't see too often. If you want to get a classic one, I'd highly recommend getting the classic style Daredevil, though. But for me, for my own personal fun factor, I'm going to rate it a little bit high. The fanboy is going to kind of play a little bit into it, though. I'm giving this one 9 out of 10. Now, if I wasn't a fanboy of it, though, I'd probably go 8.25, in all honesty. I'd probably lose 3/4 of a point because, you know, I just think I don't need another Daredevil. But for me, as a big Daredevil fan, I got several. I got this one mostly because it's the variation of it, though. This is who the collector's going to be, and that's where the fun factor is going to lie. All right, guys, that's it for the review. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Just wrapped up the 300 subscriber contest. Big shout out to Mark Headley, 125, I believe. And another thing, too, I want to point out is I got home finally. I got everything situated. I'm back to making videos. Be putting out videos at least 3 to 5 times a week. I got some time to do that, so I'm going to get knocked out. The WWE Build-A-Figure video will be filming maybe later today. I got some stuff I got to do. I got to change the brakes on my vehicle. But in the meantime, though, thank you all so much for watching. Big love.